Hello. It has been quite a while
I think you guys are still getting the Sunday uploads.
of the extended audio on YouTube and now the extended
Spotify.
videos on Spotify. So there's still a lot of things going up, even though it's not new stuff, but it's things that
Previous stuff.
that have new info, new stuff in there involved.
Also, I feel like if a lot of people who are maybe new that because of those, they're discovering it. So yeah. We're officially on season 2 for any of those people who are new.
Who are listening. Yeah. Because
Welcome.
in YouTube, we've gotten a lot of listens in the podcast and subscribers because of it. So welcome. If you are listening to us on YouTube or if it's the first time moving over to Spotify, welcome.
Yep.
This is our second season of the We Are Fashionably Late podcast, and we are your host.
Yeah. And we're actually reaching our last 3 episodes.
Last 3 episodes of season 2.
Yeah.
How far we've come.
It's crazy.
It's always crazy to think of we start season 2 and we're like, oh, till we reach the end, how is it gonna be? And as well, all the opportunities and things that we've learned, and
we've had a fun time with the
very
season.
fun time. Yes,
Special guests.
a lot of special guests, and we were grateful and honored for all of them that came on board and chatted with us a little bit on certain topics. And but
It's been great.
we're gonna get in our little road that we do.
Yeah.
In our little jam with, first off, of what are we wearing?
What are we wearing, Natalie? Well, this episode is very special. We've actually had to rework it, the last 3 episodes. Not that they were bad or anything, but we just wanted to focus it more on what we felt would be more appropriate with for this time. Yes.
And using this platform, using our voices, and using our podcast to, and as well, it's we're still focusing on the fashion part, but we're talking about,
I think, things that are important. Yeah. Which I think a lot of the times when we think of clothing, it's not just something pretty in your closet. It's also, there's statements made with clothing. Yeah.
There's depth. There's background.
Yeah.
The person that created it has a vision, and what is that vision? And that's what we're here.
And
we're
there's
your
sisters.
History.
We're here to tell you about all that today.
Well,
what's the topic today now?
Well, fashionista history teachers. We're here.
Period.
I
don't wear these glasses for nothing.
I
Actually, no. Yeah, I need them to see.
I don't have 20/20 vision. I was not blessed with that. But sorry. But I will. What I am wearing today.
Yeah. For this episode
of the Tuskegee
Airmen.
So inspired by that look is this aloe faux leather premier bomber. Why do I know the name of it? Because I work there. So I know all the names of the products. Spoiler. And then I have this little star necklace to kind of go with, the airmen, the stars that they get. Yeah. And then I just have a basic kind of black tee. And then this is COVID. We're not going to talk about what I'm wearing underneath. I am wearing something underneath, but we're not going to talk about that.
For those people who don't understand when Allie says COVID, she means when you were at home lounging and you would be business
Zoom.
On the top.
You do Zoom and you'd be business on the top, casual at the bottom. So that's what I mean. But that's what I'm wearing. Also, it's all black. I don't know if I said the color.
I think so. I don't know.
Because, black makes us look skinny or whatever. New year, new resolutions. Anyways, go with what you're wearing.
I'm wearing, so it's this vintage style, but it's not actual vintage. But it is a Levi's, what is it, I want to say it's technically an overall. It's an overall. That's what it is. But I wanted to get it, the idea of wearing, a jumpsuit. I don't have a jumpsuit. So this was the closest thing to that. And then I'm wearing a black Reformation long sleeve. I honestly can't remember what it's called. But it's so comfy and cozy and cottony. And it's the one that's, always on there. Yeah. It's, one of their basics. So we love.
And for those of you who have listened to us since the beginning of season 2, we know Leslie's prized possession Golas.
Guys, I'm not wearing my Golas
today.
Guys,
she's wearing the aloe runners in black.
Yes, okay, they're the new ones that launched. They're honestly so cute, so comfortable. And spoiler alert, I've been on my exercise grind, so
if you see us, you know, a little
I'm
bit
gonna exercise after
skinny,
this.
call the cops. Wow, we can't find my way. What is that
I don't know. I really needed that double chin to minimize.
She said, zoom out.
So we're about to, what is it? I can't do Ozempic, but I can run, so that's what I'm doing.
That's what we're doing. We're doing the natural Ozempic.
Well, I'm doing the natural Ozempic.
One that our mothers taught us to run. But yeah, so can you tell we were excited. We're missing you guys.
We missed you guys.
That is what we are wearing.
Yeah.
And we're going to jump right into it. We are changing our I'm just a girl.
I think it was just because we didn't have an official name, and that was a
that was just
name.
like the first thing I came up with. So we are just girls.
That's the segment.
We are just girls. We're just yappers. We like the cheese, man. We like the gossip.
I don't know if it hits the same. We'll get used to it.
We are girls.
Well, because, you know, we are fashionably late.
We are Tuskegee Airmen. We are... Yeah.
And if you guys didn't know the full phrase, because I feel like, we'll still add it to something.
In the first season.
Yeah, it's while you're early, we are fashionably late, because we're talking in the car. That's a little bit too long. It was a little bit too long.
For we are. Graphic and design purposes, it was too long.
So it's just we are fashionably
late. But we are fashionably late is perfect. As a graphic designer, I loved it.
That's still the essence of this.
The correct letters count size.
She's out here using papyrus. Nope.
Not papyrus for fashion girlies.
So what are we sharing in this topic?
So first and foremost, babes, we are celebrating Black History Month.
Yes, we are.
And what better way than making this episode dedicated to these airmen that are not talked too often about. Sorry, not talked about often. There we go, my words.
They're heroes.
In the history books. Yeah. In life.
And they wanted to be erased by our current administration, which we will not let happen.
We will not. We want to stay educated, well, and like, what's the word?
I don't know what you're saying. I was going to say we want to be skinny, educated, and nice.
Intelligent.
Yeah.
We want to be great. You know, we want to be making the future better for our generations to come, not worse. And keep the little... the flavors of us, of our history.
Yeah. Also, I feel like it's important to talk about, like, we don't want history to forget.
To be erased.
Yes. We don't want people to forget about that. Okay, that's what we're getting into. That's the kind of vibe that we're going into with these next 3 episodes coming in.
But with that being Black History Month, we will add links in our Zine, in our Instagram, even pictures here of small businesses
that you could go
support. Because guess what? It's better to support small businesses right now than actual big companies.
Yeah. We said no to oligarchy, baby.
We said no to canceling the DEI, bitches.
Yeah. Heck no.
Absolutely not.
So yeah. Also, if any of these things are offending you right now, if you're
clearly
offended, clearly you're in the wrong spot.
You ain't woke.
So unless you want to be educated, continue and stay. But if you are being offended, just leave. I wish you would stay to get educated.
So you understand.
We're gonna keep talking about this.
Okay. With
the next topic, somebody else who used art in order to speak about
in a public place.
Yes, to speak about the political climate
with such confidence
of the United States of America. We love him, Kendrick Lamar. Guys, if you did not understand what happened there, go look at the symbolism.
And for those that didn't think that was just the best Super Bowl halftime show, clearly that something's we're not understanding of what is happening in our times. And him using his platform, his voice, he was at the right place at the right time with the correct words to say.
Yeah.
Like, he's not overstepping. He's just being who he was.
And if you don't even know what 40 acres and a mule stands for, guys, don't even enter the chat right now. Go learn about that first and then come back.
We'll let you back in.
And then we'll let you back in. But basically, I also wanted to celebrate his collaboration that he did with Willy Chavarria, another icon, a fashion designer. So they made Super Bowl merch, and I think it's still available. And it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and I don't know. I just love that they both. I mean, I think Kendrick had been dressing in some of Willie's pieces.
I think, if I'm not wrong, if he's the same designer, he was the one that actually dressed all of them.
Yeah, for the Super Bowl.
I'm
pretty sure.
all the background dancers, him, SZA, all of them.
Yeah.
I
think so. I think it's something like that. But I'm excited about the collection, because then that means that, we can wear it, we can shop it.
Also,
So
it's with the two,
making
people
political statements.
races that are being attacked right now.
Yep.
That are united.
Yep. So
Just
we
gotta
love
say
that.
So with that, we also want to talk about the people in the office, the people in Congress, the people that are fighting, the people that know this is not right. Of course, we know our girl, AOC girl.
She's going.
She's not shutting up.
Her.
She's going. She's ranting.
Bernie.
But guess what? Guess who else stood up?
Guess who else stood up?
Miss Jasmine
Crockett. Which I feel like she's always stood up, but I think right now her voice is more prominent.
Amplified.
Yes. I feel like right now, I think, especially with everything going on politically, and even, this is the thing, I think a lot of the issues that are stemming up right now, it's not even political at this point. At this point, it's just basic human rights.
Yeah,
like
that's getting
destroyed or getting attacked, and so it's literally unconstitutional.
Yes.
All the things that are happening, for those of you who need a lesson on what the Constitution stands for.
Yep.
And so I love seeing our representatives stand up.
Also, it being women.
Yeah.
That as well is another group that is getting targeted in different ways. But I think it's like we're using our resources, what we are able and capable to do
during this time.
And not like sitting back.
Yeah.
We're front row, baby. Front row.
And I think that's also another thing. Even if you feel like, well, I'm just this or just that, and I'm not a politician, what can I do? There are ways that you can help. There are ways that your voice can be heard. For us, we're just doing a podcast talking about something that's important right now, sharing stories with you. And so it's also another thing too, that like find whatever you do and amplify it. Use your voice, whatever your voice may be. But another association that I really want to shout out, the NAACP. They have a toolkit actually right now on their website where they're fighting against Project 2025. If you guys didn't know this stands for the National Association of Advancement of Colored People, which is a civil rights organization that helps fight racial equality in the U.S. And so definitely check out their website. They have the toolkit there. It's available for everyone. It's an amazing, not only read, but like obviously a toolkit. You need it.
Yeah. During these times, you need it. Yeah. As well as like people going to Barnes and Noble and online, downloading the Constitution. All these things are important as well. I feel like not only are organizations like this standing up and telling us like these are resources and things that we can do to help you, but also the books that are getting banned, like those are, in a way, even though they're like, it's like not like accurate, babe, some of these things are turned into what it's coming, and it's just a good resource and a good to have an open mind of what's actually happening with also the literature and
also stuff. I feel like a lot of people, when like things like this get brought up, they're like, oh, fear mongering, oh, like this, that. It's not in a way to like scare anyone. I think it's in a way of being like, things are getting serious. We need to buckle up. But I think the good thing that we have right now is that we're able to be connected on so many platforms. We're able to share our voices on so many platforms. It's easier for you to be informed, just like it's easy for you to be misinformed. And so I think the importance is to obviously do your own research, get everything fact checked before. And if that means going to a library, like go to a library, get your library card, support it, especially during this time right now when they're trying to do cuts for everything. And so that's my little rant, but I don't want it to be all doom and gloom, especially with the topic that we're talking about today. Like, this is actually a story of like hope. And this is something that even though people have tried to
diminish.
diminish, or just forget about, you know? Like, oh, it's in the past. Like, it wasn't that long ago, actually.
No.
And it's things that we really need to celebrate, and we really need to talk about, and that matter, right?
And that are important
Yeah.
to have in our conversation loop.
Yep.
But
yeah, that wraps up our We Are Girls, and we care about
girls.
civil rights.
Alrighty, let's move on to the history. This is where y'all stay informed, and we give you all the facts.
We give you all the tea.
All the tea. All
that
the tea.
ChatGPT has clearly forgotten about.
This little spiel that I'm gonna say is what ChatGPT gave us.
Okay, ready?
The rest of it,
it's like 3 sentences.
The rest of it is what was researched.
Thanks to the library, local library. Thanks to PBS. Thanks to the History Channel.
Sponsor your PBS. Okay. The little, like that at the end. So, who were Tuskegee, Airmen? They were the first African American aviators in the U.S. military history and served in World War II from 1941, folks, to 1946. They were part of the U.S. Army Air Corps,
a precursor
to the Air Force. So Army Air Corps, precursor to the Army Air Force, and were trained at the Tuskegee Army Airfield in Alabama. The group included pilots, navigators, bombardiers, mechanics, instructors, and other support staff. Despite facing racial discrimination, they proved their skill and bravery in combat. They flew over 15,000 missions in Europe and North Africa, and that's it.
That's all that ChatGPT would give you. So if you go up to ChatGPT, put this information out there, this is all it's going to give you.
That's all.
And this is what everybody right now is doing their actual research intelligence.
We're going back. You know how our to be read was the smutty books, the romance books, the fantasy books? No. That's changed this year. Now we're doing literature, fictional, nonfiction. We're doing actual history. We're learning all of these facts.
Yes, we're learning the
We want
to stay educated. So I think that's the reason I bring up the ChatGPT thing, right? Not that we only go to ChatGPT to research our topics. We always do more in-depth research. But I just wanted to see what ChatGPT gives you, because I feel like everyone right now kind of uses it for everything. And I also think it's so interesting because people don't realize how quickly things can be erased from the internet, right? How things can be censored. So if you're looking, if you wanted to search up Tuskegee Airmen, you would get other things on like Google and things like that. But this is the thing, if anything were to happen and people would just, with power and authority, the wrong people in power would say, hey, you know what, actually erase that because it's not going to be important anymore. It could easily be erased, or it could easily be minimized, or it could easily just be looked upon. So now I want to talk to you about the origins of the Tuskegee Airmen, about the depth, right? There's
the
so
filler.
much that
The actual information. What ChatGPT gave you was a filler.
That was a when you read the the blurb in the back of the book.
That's the Spark Notes version.
That's the Spark Notes version.
This is the actual. If you read the book, you would know this thing.
Yes. That was the movie. This is the actual.
This
book.
is the actual book. You know, sometimes the movies aren't that great as a book. This is a book.
Okay, so now let's move on to the origins, right? So, due to intense segregation and racial discrimination, aka the OG MAGAs out here during this time,
which we changed to Mexicans
ain't going anywhere,
or
Make America Gay Again. I mean, hey. Anyways, so basically the OG races, which this is the thing. It wasn't that long ago. We're talking about the 1940s, right? This was still a thing, or this was a thing, and so it was led to believe that young black men didn't have the ability to actually serve their country, to actually help in any other way, right? And so they didn't have the ability to serve. They didn't have the ability to fly planes. They didn't have the ability to help in any other way, right? This was at the beginning of the war, really. Again, this is it kind of makes me mad. I'm so sorry. Like, this just...
Let's pause for a minute.
Let's pause. But this is just typical American politics. This is when people are saying the DEI reversal. Like, you see the minority and you think less of them, and you don't want to give them any responsibility. And if they do better than you, you just assume that, like, oh, like, because you got an advantage. No.
They flip the curve.
Yeah.
The curve that we're all supposed to be.
Okay, so let me get back on track. So having pressure from the black press, having pressure from the NAACP, which we talked about, and then even Roosevelt's wife, so now we're talking about the president, basically he had so much pressure to, like, during this time, you know, like, everyone's trying to do their efforts for the military, their efforts for the war. It's like, why not let them serve, right? So he signed an order in 1939 that allowed civilian pilot training program. Now, this was open to black students because, again, it was to all civilians. But in December of 1940, while still only being civil pilots, the War Department actually invested $1 million to train these men at the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, which was seen as only an experiment. Now, two things here. You think $1 million is a lot, especially back then. It was, but it wasn't compared to everything else they were spending money on for the war efforts, right? Now, two, you're telling me that in 1940, the government was willing to spend $1 million on an experiment? That means that's a little bit. Like, they're spending a little percentage of what they have for the military for an experiment. So even though to us it seems like a lot of money, it actually was not a lot of money.
Compared to the amount of money that even now we hear that's getting invested into things that aren't...
into a war, basically.
Into things that aren't benefiting us, the people who are the taxpayers that are thinking the benefits are going to us, but aren't.
They're not. So basically it was seen as an experiment, and since things were getting worse with the war and things were accelerating and they were losing a lot of men and everybody was feeling very patriotic during this time, they needed more men. And so the government, they still didn't believe in them, but they were willing to train them, right? Now, the training standards were the same, but only for a little while. Because then they saw that so many of these men were able to join, and then they wanted to basically hold it back a little bit. Yeah. They were like, wait, that's too many of you. We didn't think you guys were that smart. Which, again, comments like that, undermining, like, that's racist. Basically, what they did then was they changed the failure rate. An example, for white cadets during that time, they would have their failure rate set at 63%. Meaning that if they got obviously anything higher, they passed. For African American cadets, though, it was 73%. So it was 10% higher in order to pass. Basically, everything was stacked up against them, right? But these men still made the best of it. Yeah. These men still said, you know what? We're still graduating from this program. We're still giving it our all. And it's like, I think this is another thing. It gives you hope because it's like, even if things are stacked up against you, this is a moment where it shows your true character. Yes. Like, how much are you willing to fight for this? How much are you willing to prove them wrong? To dedicate to this. And so this was amazing because the best of the best basically graduated from this program, making them equal to, but honestly better than their white cadets.
Because of their failure percentage that they were given.
So, in a way, even though they wanted to use it against them, they actually made them better, right?
It was kind of like a... what's the word? Like
it didn't work out the way that they wanted to. They assumed that these men wouldn't rise up to the challenge, and they'd be like, you know what, that's too high. I don't think I could pass that. Yeah. They also, I think, in a way, wanted to just make it so less of them would join.
They really said... challenge accepted.
Which, I mean, yes, technically there was less African American men fighting during this time. due to that. But the ones that were there, they were the top of the top.
Yeah.
They were amazing. This year, so that following summer, the Tuskegee Airmen, which was a 332nd Fighter Group, flew escort bombers all summer to highlight basically how good they were, right? So, I mean, don't just take my word for it. This shows during 7 missions, right, they lost 27 bombers. So this was a total of 27 bombers for 7 different missions that they were on. That was their rate. That's on average how many they would lose, right? Now, for the white cadets, they would lose 46 bombers per mission. Do you guys see the difference, right? This is 27 per 7 missions.
7.
Yeah.
7. Remember, 7 missions, they only lost 27 bombers.
Yeah.
46
for just 1.
bombers for 1.
Yeah, that was the difference in the averages, right? So again, they did an amazing job. They were very disciplined. So in April of 1943, the first full squadron of African American pilots, the 99th Fighter Squadron, was deployed. By June, I think it was 1944. Yeah. 3 other squadrons joined, right? They deployed all over. So they were in the Mediterranean, in North Italy, in Romania, and in Eastern Europe. And it was kind of, I don't know, I feel like during that time, obviously it was something very patriotic. It was very, I mean, the whole world was fighting. The whole world was watching. And they had this military newspaper that is the Stars and Stripes, and that they would have a daily, like, news report, basically. And constantly, these men were on it because they were, they were basically talked about all the time of great things that they were doing, how their squadron was doing, highlights, things like that. So they were constantly being reported on.
So their units, including the famous 332 Fighter Group, escorted bombers and earned a reputation like, you know,
like
Tay-Tay, for their red tail P-51 Mustangs. They downed 108 enemy aircrafts, people. 108. Receiving 744 air medals, 150 distinguished flying crosses, 14 bronze stars, and 1 silver star.
Yeah. So these were some of the recognitions that the Tuskegee Airmen,
that group,
won during this time, or got during this time.
The recognition and the, their success helped pave the way for the desegregation for the U.S. military in 1948. Harriet Truman signed the the Armed Forces to be
integrated. So basically, sorry, those were my notes now. I know. I'm sorry. They were confusing. So basically, these men were because of them, obviously, like, a few years down the line, Harriet Truman signed so that the U.S., like, the armed forces could be integrated. So although things were still segregated in civilian life, here they weren't segregated, which I think
it opened the doors to now including them as a part of it being like a separate group, you know, because it's like they saw their success rate and how amazing it was, and seeing the difference between just having the white cadets and then having them, and it's like, which do you prefer? Do you prefer to lose more men or to have more successes, like, and to allow them to kind of merge into one, you know?
And right now, if we see the diversity of people who are serving our country, they were one of the people that paved the way for that, you know?
And that isn't spoken about
enough, I don't think. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what that noise was.
It was an ambulance. It was an ambulance. I was like,
I got
Fast and Furious? What? She was like,
She said reverse.
But when they returned home, many of them commented on how they were not seen as equals in the society.
How the U.S. was still very segregated.
Yeah.
So they felt like they had, like, won so much. They felt like they kept being, like, you know, like, they felt great, like, in there because they felt equal. And then all of a sudden they get back and then it's, like, still segregated. Like, it's like everything's divided and they're still not seen with any respect that people in the army at that time were seen with.
Yeah.
And even now, you know, like there's a certain level of respect, but they weren't. They were just back to civilian life.
So here are like a few other little like examples that happened. We had the gruesome twosome, which was Captain Wendell
Pruitt
and Wingman Lieutenant Lee Archer, that got the nickname for the major win in October 12th, 1944, where they shot down multiple enemy planes. Okay?
Yeah. They were a dynamic duo.
So Lee Archer was also the first black pilot to achieve ace status in the Air Force. Not only were they shooting down the enemy planes, but he got that recognition as well. But when Lieutenant Colonel? Colonel? Where's the R?
That's how it's spelled. That's what everybody talks about.
Colonel James H. Harvey, the third of the 94th, Captain Temple of the 300, Lieutenant Harry Stewart
of the 100,
Hablet.
Okay, Alexander
Extra.
Okay, sorry.
I don't know what her notes are, girl.
I was like, where is she at? Like, she's already down there. Okay. Let me tell you guys about this story, right? So, this is actually real. It's not just a story. I feel like when I say a story, people assume it's fake. No. Like, it's... Let me tell you about something that happened.
She actually researched that part.
Yeah. So, in May of 1949, the Chief of Staff Air Force sent a message to all fighter groups in the U.S. to pick the highest scores, the top 3 to represent their groups, right? The top 3 that went for the Tuskegee Airmen were Lieutenant H. Harvey, the 3rd of the 94th, Captain Temple of the 300, Lieutenant Harry Stewart of the 100, and I think because they always take somebody extra just in case. I think his name was Habit Alexander. They went to compete for the Top Gun's weapons meet in Las Vegas, so the Air Force Base in Nevada, and that was the first ever Top Gun meet that they were doing. The first ever. These men went and they won it. They were technically the first ever Top Gun men to win it, but they were never recognized because, again, they were African American during that time, and so they basically just dismissed that year and they started the next year, and then those people were recognized as technically the first, when in reality that was not true. And they were never celebrated until they didn't have a banquet, they didn't have a celebration, because typically that's how these events go. You get a celebration, you get an award, you get all the the recognition for it. Do you want to know when these men were recognized for that big win?
Reminder, it was in 1949 when this happened.
Yeah. Not until January 10th of 2022. Only 3 years ago, barely, were they recognized for having been the first ever fighter group to win the first ever Top Gun weapons meet. How insane is that? And that just goes to show you. I mean, I want to say that not even all of them went, because at that point, I don't think some of them were alive. Like, this just makes me sad and mad, and it's a thing that obviously you're like, well, yeah, at least they got recognized, but
why not in the moment?
Why not in the moment? Because of how bad racism was.
And they were too proud to say that the first ever Top Gun
were a group of black men,
airmen.
Yeah. Of African American men. Yeah. And so that goes to show how deep rooted racism is, and how you, depending on where you come from, if you want to say that America was great during that time, for who? Right? Because not all people were treated equal. And even now, this is the thing that people are standing up for. We should all be created equal. That is what this Constitution
is for.
That's
why it was built.
Yeah.
And it was written for.
Yeah. Liberty and freedom for all.
Justice for all.
And so, I mean, I don't want to be a downer. I think, if anything, all of the takeaways is that when minorities are given an opportunity, we rise to the occasion.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, I hope that's a main takeaway for this episode.
And that even though, like, even now as in, like, the workforce and stuff, how it's, like, you have to have this, like, requirements and all this stuff, and how sometimes you're like, okay, but I want an in or whatever, but it's, like, don't lose hope, you know? Like, if one door closes, another will open, and your work, your skill, who you are, and how dedicated you are to this job, this profession, this career, it matters. And change can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And
if we all stick together.
We all stick together. And it's basically don't stop trying. Yeah. And I think in these trying times that we're having, we have all, I feel like even this generation right now are all using our voices because first of all, why are we being silenced? And two, we have the platform, we have the way of communications, and we all think alike. And it's like...
I mean, not
all of us, but a majority of us do, you know? And it's like, and those that do, we're like, okay, like, no, this isn't okay. Yeah. Because I feel like depending on where you were raised or where you lived or whatever, I feel like, California is a very, like, cultural, like, diverse area.
It's very diverse, and I think us growing up here, we've really felt like, oh, yeah, America's progressive.
Yeah.
And then you're like, actually, it's
there's
where
other
I
states
lived.
that don't. And it's like being able to live and to see these different, like, cultures and, you know, even make great friendships with people
who are different
from what you were raised, what you were taught, things that you cherish and love and all this stuff. And being open to learn more and to accept it is just one of the many ways that right now we're uniting, you know? And we're not, like, just because it's not us that they're targeting directly, but it's like, hey, that's not okay. I'm going to go defend them.
Yeah, and I think that's beautiful. I also think that I understand that a lot of frustration comes from the fact that all of the things that people did that came before us, like the Tuskegee Airmen, are now getting, it feels like, erased, or it feels like all of that hard work was for nothing. Don't give up. Don't give up. I feel like this is what it means to stand for what you believe in.
Yes.
It's during this time. If in history you were like, what would I do during that time? You're doing it right now.
Yeah.
Anything, and here's another thing too. Anything you can do. Any way you can use your voice. If you're an artist, draw a picture. Put it on social media. If you're a photographer, when these protests are happening, go take pictures of it. Like...
And we see it simply in our Congress. Like, we have Jasmine. Yeah. We have AOC.
Yeah. People who are
standing up. Bernie, who this man, even in his older age, he's not letting us down. And he's being real about it. We have governors from different states standing up and saying, we're not going to accept this because this is not how America is. This is not what's in the Constitution. We have people in the freaking, like, office, the Supreme Court, all these people that are denying all these things that it's, one, unconstitutional, and two, just not okay. Yeah. And it's like, if they're fighting out in there trying to do as much as they can from it getting affected, you fight from here. You be like the backup, like, hey, go. Like,
wherever you are, like,
wherever.
You can it could be like you talking to your friends. Like,
literally.
That's already...
And conversations like this can be had and be open and all this stuff. Yeah. But it's also like...
Stay informed.
Yeah. We can all even just post in a little Instagram story about all these things, which I be blowing up. Yeah. That's good. That's a way that others can be informed of what's going on, things that they don't know, and even for yourself.
And I think I mean, I don't want to be a crybaby on here, but I think also to just not lose hope. I think that's also another thing. Like, it feels so emotional and so heavy because of the times, but then you also think of all the work that people did before and how that was beautiful, and how now it's our responsibility to kind of pick up the torch and keep going.
And because this is how I thought of it when everything was happening about, like, this will be the final thing that I say, with things that were happening and all that stuff. I think of it this way. I mean, maybe I'm gonna blow some minds. My privilege is their sacrifice.
Yeah.
Our privilege here,
Right
everything
now.
that we're able, that we've had, that we've been given, resources, benefits, and all that stuff, was somebody else's sacrifice to get us here.
Yeah. Even for us being here, 2 women who are children of immigrants, who are Mexican American, me speaking English is something that like was given to me. Me literally pulling up the camera and being able to have my own thoughts to research this, like, that's a freedom that people maybe 50 years ago didn't have.
Yeah.
100 years ago, women didn't have. It's a luxury.
Yes.
And so, even though there's still so much work to be done, just keep going. And I'm sorry for crying.
No. But
Yeah.
it's a whole spiel. This is, we have the platform, and we're gonna use it.
Yeah.
And
Even if it's only a few.
even if it's a few listeners, but it's
matters.
this thing. It matters, and we are leaving here a little seed, and all of us are leaving our little seeds, and day by day we're watering it, and we're watching that grow, and we're seeing the difference, and we're hearing good news. We're hearing good news, things that are being blocked, things that are being changed, things that are getting like stopped, and all this stuff, and it's because of us.
Because we're still using our voice.
We're like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like,
And we can be a little sassy when we do it.
like, we can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's just a little brief of history. That's everything that's going around right now. And
It's heavy, but we're in it together.
we're in it together. We want to make sure this part of history does
hope.
not get erased.
Yeah. And I'll stop crying. That's what